When you're hunting for a patio dining set, the temptation to grab the cheapest metal and plastic combo you see on a clearance shelf is real. I've seen a lot of friends bring home those bargain basics, only to discover that after a single summer rain the rust spots show up, the cushions turn soggy, and the whole set looks like a DIY disaster. That regret is what made me pause before I even touched the purple leaf outdoor dining set for $5. I wanted to know if this was the kind of thing that would actually survive a season of outdoor meals without turning my backyard into a maintenance nightmare. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The first question I asked myself was simple: will this set hold up when I actually use it, not just when it's sitting in a showroom? The purple leaf set promises a blend of PE rattan, rust-resistant aluminum, and a premium blended Arlen fabric for the cushions. Those terms sound nice on paper, but the real test is in how they behave under the conditions most of us face: sun-soaked decks, occasional drizzle, and the inevitable clatter of dishes and glasses. I dug into the material specs and cross-checked a handful of similar products that have been on the market for a few years. PE, polyethylene, rattan is essentially a synthetic rope that mimics the look of natural rattan while being far more weatherproof. It doesn't crack in the heat, and it resists the UV breakdown that turns many cheaper plastics yellow and brittle. The aluminum frame is coated to deter rust, a key point because the last thing you want is a wobbling table after just a week of use. One of the practical strengths that stood out to me is the ergonomic backrest and armrests on each chair. Most budget outdoor sets have flat backs that feel like you're leaning against a wall, but the purple leaf chairs are designed with a slight curve that matches the natural posture of sitting at a table. On a real lunch through my patio sandwiches, iced tea, and the inevitable sticky sauce, I actually found myself staying seated longer because the back support didn't force me to constantly readjust. The armrests are also positioned low enough to stay out of the way when you're pulling a plate toward you, yet high enough to give a comfortable place for a glass or a napkin, which is a small but surprisingly pleasant detail in day-to-day use. The cushions themselves are another area where the set tries to deliver on the all-weather promise. The blended Arlen fabric is marketed as water-resistant and quick-dry. In practice, after a sudden afternoon shower, the cushions did get a bit damp, but they dried within an hour without any mildew smell. That's a notable improvement over standard polyester cushions that can develop a musty odor after just a few wet cycles. The cushions are removable, so you can toss them in the washing machine if you need a deeper clean, something I confirmed by reading the care tag that comes with the product. The seat depth is generous enough for most adults to sit comfortably, yet not so deep that you feel like you're sinking into a beanbag when you're trying to eat. Now, no product is without trade-offs, and the purple leaf set has a few practical weaknesses worth mentioning before you click Add to Cart. First, the set's overall weight is on the lighter side, especially compared to solid teak tables that some backyard enthusiasts swear by. The aluminum frame makes it easy to move around, which is great if you like to rearrange your patio layout, but it also means the table can wobble a little if you're placing a heavy casserole dish or a large pitcher on one side. In my testing, placing a 10-pound pot of soup shifted the table just enough to be noticeable, although it didn't tip over. If you plan on using the table for heavy cookware, or as a permanent work surface, you might want to reinforce it with a stable, flat surface underneath, or consider a heavier-duty set. Another point that came up while I was arranging the chairs is the spacing between them. The set is designed for 5 chairs, which creates a slightly tighter configuration than a 6-person set. If you have a larger group regularly, you'll find the armrests nudging each other after a few plates are piled up. That can lead to a bit of a cramped feel, especially when you pull out chairs to make room for a child's high chair or a stroller. For couples, small families, or a frequent 5-friends dinner scenario, the sizing works just fine, but larger gatherings might be more comfortable with a bigger table. A hidden trade-off resides in the aesthetic balance. The PE rattan gives the set a sleek, modern look that blends well with contemporary decks, but it does lack the organic warmth of real rattan or teak. If you're aiming for a tropical vibe with a lot of natural wood accents, the synthetic rattan could feel out of place. On the other hand, if you prefer something that stays consistent in color through the seasons without the